What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel for, you guessed it, another Warzone video. And today, I know I just dropped a Warzone video the other day, and I try to, change it up, not play the same game too much in a row. However, there was a big update in Warzone, and the Grau is, I don't want to say no more, but they nerfed it. It's not the holy grail weapon that we all used to use it as. Now it is nerfed in a whole bunch of ways, and if you want, I can link the patch notes in the description below, like just everything the update did. It really isn't as bad as a lot of people are making it out to be. It sounds bad when you're reading it, but then if you go use the Grau itself, it doesn't feel a whole lot different. In fact, even the recoil seems to be a little bit better than it was before. However, you can notice a little bit of a difference. It's not as drastic as everyone is saying. But it wasn't just the Grau, it was the MP5 as well. And I personally love the MP5. That was one of my favorite weapons to use. So this is just kind of an updated which loadout to use and then which attachments kind of video. Although I guess I haven't really put one out. I put a tips and tricks video up, but that's not the point. The new meta seems to be still sniper rifles. They're going to be king. If you can hit those headshots, you will instantly kill someone who has full, like their 3 armor and full health. You just have to hit that headshot, and they of course can't be too far away. But the distance is pretty crazy, and it does have to be either the HDR or the AX50, just whatever your preference is. I know some people say the HDR is better, some people say the AX50 is better. I don't care which one you side with. Just use one of those two, because the Dragunov is terrible. It's cheeks. You're not going to kill anyone with that. But that's the first gun I recommend you putting in. Again, thermal is a great scope just because it paints a target at long range. It just makes it really easy to see people from far away. Next guns, however, are going to be the assault rifles. So, like I said, the MP5 is out. Do not make that your secondary, because at range, it is not going to be very good. While they didn't hit the Grau too hard, in my opinion, with the nerf, they hit the MP5 very hard. The previous, I think it's like a 10mm round that you could put in there for extra bullet velocity and damage, that does not do nearly as much as it used to. And then I believe they just lowered the range as well, just for the gun by itself, not the attachments. But since the MP5 is out, I either recommend the Ram 7 or the M4A1. You could also use the M13 or I guess even the AUG, because the AUG has some pretty good range. However, the M13 does take a lot of bullets to kill a full health enemy. So my personal recommendation is the M4, and if you haven't leveled the M4, then go for the Ram 7, because I just love the Ram 7. I like the M4 as well. I just think I used it a little bit too much, and I need to lay off. But that is the new meta. So yeah, let's get into the attachments. Alright, so if we're talking attachments for the Ram 7, here is the loadout that I personally run. I go with a monolithic suppressor. For the stock, I go with a F-Tac Equilibrium. Then the underbarrel, Ranger foregrip, the ammunition 50 round, because more ammo is always better. And then the rear grip, I do the stippled grip tape. Now, a lot of people are probably going to say nah to a lot of these options, and I understand that, but I run a sniper rifle, so for my long range stuff, I don't use my AR. My AR gets used for that mid range and then that close range. It's taking the place of my formerly used SMG, so I need that aim down sight speed to be quick, and I need that close up accuracy to be, well, accurate. And for that reason, I use that stock, that rear grip, and that underbarrel. The monolithic suppressor is pretty universal for most situations. It does, however, slow down that aim down the sight speed just a little bit, but not a whole lot to make me take it off. Now, if we're running an AR, that's a little bit of a different story. What I recommend there is still that monolithic suppressor, and I know the Corvus, or I think the Corvus, no, the Corvus did not get nerfed. The Corvus is what I use for the the barrel. The stock, I use the Forge Tac CQS, and that one, of course, helps with that aim down sight speed. Then a tactical foregrip, that helps with the aiming stability a whole bunch, helps hit those long range shots. And then last, I use the 50 round mag. And again, these are specifically if you're using the AR as a mid-range to close range gun. If you're trying to use it in place of a sniper and hit those long distance shots, I recommend different attachments other than the ones that are going to help with the close quarters combat. So maybe swap those out for a different grip or a scope even. And this is mostly a loadout tips video. However, watching my first video, I may have jumped the gun a little bit in saying don't use overkill, just use ghost. Overkill actually seems to be fine. Let's say that that first circle starts to close in and then you get your free loadout drop. Maybe select the class that has both the weapons that you want, the custom weapons, with overkill equipped. And then as you go further on, let's say you've saved enough money, you can get a second loadout drop, or maybe you get that second free loadout drop. I would switch to a class that has ghost on it, because the closer you get to other players, like the smaller that circle gets, the more ghost becomes a reliable and very essential tool just to get you closer towards that Warzone victory. Because once you get to the end, pretty much everyone has a UAV, everyone has a heartbeat sensor, and you do not want to stick out as opposed to hunting the ones that stick out. It's a far better option. Also, in that third perk spot, I recommended Spotter, and I believe I said I recommend it always over all other perks in that class. However, looking at it a second time, I'm now realizing that Battle Hardened may be a good replacement, as well as Amped. Amped is currently the one that I use frequently, and that's because switching from a sniper rifle to an assault rifle, or vice versa, is quite slow because of how heavy the sniper rifle is. So Amped makes it much easier. And I think that's going to do it for all the tips on the new update. Again, I said it before, the Grau is not that bad, so a lot of you can probably continue keep using it and still do just as well as you were doing before. It is just a little bit different though. And I did want to add one final note to this video. It is just a little bit later than I wanted it to be, and part of that is because I wanted to do a whole bunch of testing just to make sure that I had I guess accurate information to give y'all, see how it actually felt to use these guns, and that's why it took a full week after the update. I know that update was about a week ago at this point. I just wanted to make sure I had good information to give y'all and had actually used the guns myself, at least an appropriate number of times before I started recommending them to y'all. But that's going to do it. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to drop that thumbs up. And if you didn't, go ahead and tell me why in the comments. Give me something to improve off of. And that's going to be it. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.